Bitcoin is trading at $119,000. Ethereum is trading at $3,900. And it looks like we're about to have a massive altcoin season. The altcoin charts look primed to pump. So this is going to be a big update on how I see the charts right now and how to make the most of it, because I believe this is the final pump of the whole bull cycle. And when this is done, you don't want to hold past the top, because you will get wrecked in the next bear market. All of these pumps on altcoins will likely get completely retraced and maybe even go lower than where they are right now, which means you need a real strategy to be able to make the most out of it. So this one is one to pay attention to. Pause what you're doing, drop what you're doing, make time for this, grab yourself your favorite beverage and go through it in the entirety. This is also a quick final reminder. Tonight, there's less than 24 hours left. Tonight, midnight Eastern Time, July 28th, I am closing the doors to my VIP membership. So if you haven't acted yet, this is the last stretch of the cycle, in my opinion. If you want my guidance, if you want my real-time trade ideas, click the link in the description down below. Come and join. I actually even had one member who just joined recently sent me a message on Instagram. He told me he made back the entire membership fee in less than 24 hours from just 2 trade ideas that I shared. So it is completely worth joining. There's a 60-day unconditional money back guarantee, but you have to sign up, because when the doors are closed, you're not going to be able to join. Link in the description down below. Okay, so very quick before we look at the charts. Number one, we are now 464 days past the most recent halving. The longest that any cycle has gone on is 550 days. So there is less than 90 days for us to reach the same point in time that the longest Bitcoin bull cycle ever since 2009, when Bitcoin launched, has gone on. That's middle of October, which gives us basically 3 months, just a little bit under 3 months, as kind of the maximum window where everything can pump. And we're starting to see that. It seems like this is repeating in exactly the same way. Ethereum is starting to pump. It's closing in on all-time highs. When Ethereum hits all-time highs, we're starting to see the other altcoins starting to pump. The charts look good. I'll show you later in this video. So it looks like this next window, that's pretty much it. So as a maximum, I would say maybe 90 days, maybe mid to end October, something like that. Maybe also sooner than that. So you want to pay attention, because once it tops and the liquidity is done, we're down only. 2026 is most likely once again going to be another bear market. So you want to pay attention. You want to remove initial and take profits, especially on altcoins, as it goes higher. And you want to reduce risk as it pumps, not the other way around. Most people have been sidelined, and only towards the peak of the mania, when everything is way up, are they going to start buying, and they're going to start buying more and more and on leverage. And then obviously towards the end, when it drops, they're all going to get wrecked. We want to do the opposite. We want to buy before the pumps, and as it pumps, we want to scale out, we want to reduce, remove initial, take profits, pay yourself, especially if you're up life-changing money. I've seen it in previous cycles, people who've had millions of dollars, even $10 million plus in unrealized gains at the peak of a cycle. They didn't take profits at all, and that 10 million turned into less than $1 million, actually less than $200,000. I've seen that. That's extreme examples, but that's how it can go. If you're up life-changing money, pay yourself. Okay, that brings me to the next chart that leads up on what I just said, that we have potentially 90 days left, up till mid-October or something like that. But now we are entering the month of August. We have like 3 days left of July. So July is basically green, as you can see here. And August is interesting, because especially we are now in the year before likely the bear market. So let's assume 2026 is going to be the bear market. Every single year before the bear market, August has been green. 2013, 2017, and 2021. So based on that pattern, we can expect August to also be green. And if August is going to be green, a lot of charts are setting up in this way, where Ethereum could be reaching all-time highs in August, and altcoins could be doing some massive pumps in August. And if that happens, then we are likely also going to get a red September. So massive pumps for the next 4 or 5 weeks into August, and then potentially quite a big pullback or crash in September. Because as you can also see on these seasonal returns, either the month of August or September has always been red since 2013, one of the 2 months. So if we have a green August, we are very likely, based on this pattern, going to get a red September, and that perfectly lines up and makes sense, in my opinion. Okay, so back to the charts. Bitcoin is here. It's kind of stalling out at about 120,000, 119,000. It is still looking like it might have some juice in the tank. At the end of the day, we don't really care too much about Bitcoin. I'm guessing that most of us watching here right now also are in that same position. Even if Bitcoin goes up to 140, I mean, how much is that in percentage-wise? It's barely 20%. That's not going to make a meaningful difference unless you have like tens of millions of dollars invested in this, right? So for most of us here, we want altcoins to pump, and it doesn't really matter. Actually, if Bitcoin has topped here, somewhere between 120 and maybe it still has another run up, maybe it goes to 130 or 140, but somewhere in that range, and if it kind of stalls out and gives altcoins room to go on a pump for a couple of weeks and have our blow off top, that's completely a-okay with me. And I'm guessing for most of you watching, it's going to be the same situation. So you can see the vertical line here. This is a weekly chart. The vertical line is about middle October, and maybe we get something like the squiggle I drew over here. Maybe we still get one final pump in Bitcoin. You can see we still have the bearish RSI divergences, which is warning that this is running out of steam. We can have 3 thrusts here. Another touch of this would indeed be somewhere around the squiggle, maybe 130, maybe 140, something like this. But at this point in time, that's kind of what it's looking like, and it's looking like it's kind of fizzling out. But we are getting a lot of attention moving into Ethereum. A lot of money, a lot of people are buying up Ethereum like crazy, probably mostly because of the Genius Act that was signed with the implications of stablecoin and tokenization. So we have big players, whales, companies buying up ETH, but also because of the technicals, the chart, the amount of shorts that are getting squeezed, and basically the part of the cycle that we're in is all contributing to that. So let's take a look at the chart. You can see we're currently at 3,885. We already hit 3,900. And very simply, this is also the weekly chart. Vertical line is mid-October, kind of the target I'm looking for. We have these equal highs here, and that's very likely the target. I actually think it might get taken today or tomorrow. We are so close, and there's still people shorting this. So I think we just shoot up, and then we could have a bit of a pullback, and then maybe all-time highs. This is a weekly chart, so the squiggle is completely off scale. We could probably hit 5,000 or 6,000 Ethereum with some kind of blow off top here within the next 3 months, and maybe sooner than that. Maybe it happens in the next 3 or 4 weeks. That's what I'm looking for. And once Ethereum starts to do that, I really think altcoins once again are going to get attention. I don't know if it's going to be the meme coins. I don't know if NFTs are starting to get a bit of a revival on social media. We're probably not going to get a full-blown mania like in 2021, but maybe we see some pumps here and there. Maybe we see DeFi get a revival. A lot of charts are shaping up like they want more upside. You can see over here, like DOGE, for example, we're trading at 24 cents. We are back above the 50-week moving average, and last week was a perfect retest of that 50-week moving average. So technically, we are bullish above the 50-week moving average. A retest is bullish as long as we don't get back below about 22 cents with a weekly close. We're looking at continuation here, and hopefully towards the cycle high, which is about 48 cents, the all-time high, which is just over 70 cents, and maybe even that magical $1 mark. Even if we're looking at some of the older coins like BCH starting to trend up, we're at $580 so far, which is pretty nice because it means it's up about 5x from the bear market lows at the end of 2022. And I think we're going to see higher because just purely looking at this chart on the weekly basis, we are above the 50-week moving average, and we have these previous cycle highs. You can see the current cycle here over at 640, then we have 720 for the range high, and then we have the previous cycle high, which was about $1,600. And you can see here how quickly that went. We went from a similar level that we are at right now at about 550 to 1,600 in a matter of about 4 or 5 weeks towards that blow of top for altcoins. And if that is what lies ahead of us in these next 90 days, maybe sooner than that, but maximum in this next 90-day period, there is still about 12 weeks left for that to happen. And a pump like that, as you can see previously, only took about 4 or 5 weeks. So things can go very crazy in 4 or 5 weeks. But if that is the cycle top, it's done. Like 2 weeks later, it dropped all the way back down. You can see that. It's absolutely nuts. That is why I say, and I keep repeating myself here over and over, we are not early. We are probably in the last final phase of the cycle. If you are not prepared before the pump, and you are not going to remove initial and take profits, it comes all the way back down, and then The coin can drop 90%. Literally, look at this. The last cycle, we went from 1600 to 96. That is a 94% drop on Bitcoin Cash. And most altcoins did the same, and most coins will once again do the same. And who knows what's going to happen next cycle, if there is even going to be a next cycle. There's like 50 million coins right now. So this is it. You want to be fully locked in. You want to be paying attention these next 3 months, and you want to make the absolute most of it. You want to manage your risk, and you want to understand that you want to buy, and as it goes higher, you want to decrease your risk, not increase it. Most people will start to buy higher, and as it goes higher, they buy more, they add leverage, and then when it finally peaks, it completely drops, they get wiped out, they lose 90% of their money, maybe all of their money if they're on leverage, they get wrecked, and it can take years to recover. Okay, don't be like that. I'm warning you here. Be smart. As it pumps, at least, at the very least. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, so you ultimately have to make your own decisions. But I'm warning you, having been in these markets for 3 cycles now, and having seen this over and over, if you hold past the bull peak, it all drops 90%, and you get wrecked. Most people get wrecked. Most retail investors get wrecked. So just, engrave this into your brain. Print it out on a piece of paper, hang it in front of your screen. If you have to, at least remove initial capital. If you put in, call it $100,000, and that is your savings. If you put that in and it doubles to 200,000, do not get greedy. Take that 100 out. You got your savings back. It's completely risk-free. Maybe take out 150, have some profits, and as it continues to scale higher, just reduce the risk, and you can leave some runners and some play money here and there. But number one, getting to a risk-free portfolio is the most important thing, because then you can sleep at night regardless of if the market goes to zero tomorrow. All you lose is profit. You didn't lose a single penny of your own money. That's the best position to be in. And then as it goes higher, if you actually want to walk away with profit, if you want to enjoy that, if you want to use that to pay off loans or go on holiday or buy yourself a new car or watch or whatever the case is, you actually have to sell and take profits and realize gains. And the only way you can do that is to sell when you're in profit, which means as it keeps going higher, we don't know how high it's going to go. We don't know how long it's going to last. It could be a week, it could be 4 weeks, it could be 3 months. But at some point, this is going to end. And at some point, it's going to drop 90% once again. So, be smart about this. That's all I can say. I can warn you as much as possible. But in the meantime, enjoy this while it lasts, because it doesn't happen often. In fact, it only happens once every 4 years so far. And there's no guarantee it's going to happen again in 4 years from now. So if we get a massive alt season and we get crazy, crazy pumps for a period of 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, enjoy it, make the most out of it, take profits, pay yourself, remove initial capital, manage your risk. And that is the best way. Then you can compound it. Next time there will be opportunities. And in the bear market, we can trade. We can short the market and make boatloads of money on the way down too. But the only way that you really benefit from that is if you're not exposed to spot. So if you've taken your profits, and then you can compound your profits, you can trade, and at the bear market lows, probably sometime the end of 2026 or maybe early 2027, by that time, if it all looks like it's bottoming, we can load back up and we can repeat the process with spot crypto again. That is the strategy. And if you want my guidance for the next 3 months, or the next 6 months, or the next year, or throughout the bear market, come and join me in VIP. This is what I'm doing every day. I'm sharing charts, updates, my thoughts on the markets, my own trade ideas, trade setups for spot and leverage. It is all there in our community of more than 3,000 members from around the world. The link is in the description down below. The doors close tonight at midnight Eastern time. So there's no risk to sign up, 60-day money-back guarantee. But if you wait till after midnight, you won't be able to join and you won't get my guidance for the rest of the cycle. Come and join. It's risk-free. Let's make the most out of the next 90 days and let's make some big, big gains. Hopefully, as this market continues to pump and give us our blow off top. Link in the description down below. See you on the inside. Thanks for watching.